G'day viewers. Now, at the end of the week, I often do a video that I've called Totally Fucked Up Friday, where I look at some news stories from during the week that are indeed fucked up, and I tend to shout and carry on a bit. But look, it's a lovely afternoon here in Melbourne. I'm taking in some sunshine. I have a cocktail of my own making, which I call Tropical Sunset. It's red absinthe, coconut, pineapple and fresh squeezed lemon. Ooh, it's good. So, why don't we just sit together? Why don't we talk about things? And one of the first things I want to talk about is in light of a link I was sent today. Wasn't exactly new. It was from a recent column from a Murdoch rag, but it was talking about terrorism. And I get bugged all the time that we can't have sensible conversations about terrorism. Because it's an important topic. It affects a lot of people. Nowhere near as much people as the hysteria would have you believe. I mean, I find it particularly astounding the focus placed on it in America, where, and I'm not even exaggerating, you are statistically considerably more likely to be killed by a toddler with a gun than by an Islamic terrorist. Which is not to excuse terrorism at all. Let's start there. Terrorism is bad, no matter what flavour it is. And anyone who uses their religion as a justification to hurt other people is a piece of fucking scum. And anyone who says, because that group is saying their religion is their reason that they're committing these acts of barbarity, therefore I have the right to do shitty things to everyone who belongs to that religion. That's just stupid, and if you were going to apply that evenly, there'd be no religious people of any persuasion left, because all religions are guilty of terrible, terrible acts. And before some genius says, Buddhists, they're peaceful, everyone should be Buddhist. Look up, just do a Google search on Buddhist Taliban. See the sort of horrific acts that's being done by some people in the name of protecting Buddhism, okay? It's not limited to any religion, and there's no religion that's free of it, and it's bad no matter who does it. But the link that I was sent from a Murdoch rag, and it was talking about basically one of Australia's supermax prisons, where most of the prisoners are people convicted of terrorism charges. They're, conspiracy. I don't think any of them had actually committed a terrorist act. They were all caught. And incidentally, the vast majority of times in Australia where people have been caught planning terrorist acts in the name of Islam, they have actually been turned in by members of the Muslim community who found out what they were doing and said, fuck that shit, and actually worked with the cops to bring them down. Just putting it out there. Now, one of the few people in this prison who isn't there on terrorism-related charges is rather notorious serial killer Ivan Milat. Now, he's not the sort of person you'd go to for your info if you're any sort of vaguely decent human, is he? I mean, really? Killed a bunch of backpackers, tortured, raped, murdered. He's not someone you'd use to measure the value of another person, really. I mean, unless you work for a Murdoch rag. These are the people who hacked the phones of dead kids, who tormented the families of dead soldiers. These are the people with no moral code whatsoever, and they have no qualms at all about lying. And that's what was in this column. Someone quoting serial killer Ivan Milat as saying Muslim prisoners are being treated well. In fact, he didn't even really say that. He just said, they're like a group in the prison. And they get special meals. By special meals, we mean halal meals. And this idiot writing this column goes on to call it like a hotel and it's luxury. And I get really angry when people write things about prison and make it really clear they have zero understanding of prison or the justice system and they've never been inside a prison. Because anybody who says prison's a luxury is either completely ignorant, they've never been inside a prison, or they are lying to advance their own agenda. Because prisons are shit. Just getting locked in a room that you're not allowed to leave and being completely under someone else's control, that shit. And the idea that a supermax prison with people on terrorism charges is a nice place is flat out fucking moronic. But moronic is what Murdoch rags do. This one goes on to say, what luxury it is, and we're acting like there's nothing wrong. They're in a supermax prison, you fucking idiot. How is that treating like something's not wrong? And then she went, and we exposed how Muslims in prisons weren't getting particular treatments to, de-radicalize them, and that was because of political correctness. Get fucked, okay? I challenge you to find a single person who's politically correct who says that Muslims in jail on terrorism charges shouldn't be getting de-radicalization treatment. What you will get is fuckwits who write for and read Murdoch rags who go, spending money on them, that's wrong, just gotta punish them. Not understanding how prison works in as much as the people get out. Unless you are seriously doing life imprisonment with no chance of parole, which I don't actually think any of these prisoners are facing, there has to be a rehabilitation aspect because they're getting out one day. And if all you do is torture someone while they're in prison, they're going to be worse when they get out. And as for saying special meals is spoiling, getting halal meals or kosher meals is, just basic, bare human treatment. It is, you are actively causing damage and increasing the chance of more terrorist activity if you say, I'm not going to respect your religion. I mean, side note, as I've said many times, I don't respect any religion as such. I think obsessive adherence to any ideology is really quite stupid. But when you got someone in there, and it's fairly basic, they just want the meals prepared in a particular way, that's the sort of bare minimum you can do. Give them halal food. But don't give them halal snack packs. They don't deserve halal snack packs. Those are among the best foods around, and these people are bad, and they don't deserve that. Give them halal food, but don't give them really nice halal food. Halal snack pack is for good people, not bad people. Terrorism, bad, okay? I'm just going to make Sunset go a bit further down in my drink, because I'm sophisticated. So, I also know, see, I'm trying to have a reasonable conversation. I try and have one about Trump, because there are very few people who'd be in any doubt as to what I think about Trump. I'm incredibly opposed to basically everything about him. But I don't like it when people lie about him. You don't have to lie about him. You don't have to exaggerate about him. He's bad enough in reality. You don't have to make shit up. So when I saw this stuff being circulated on Facebook, like Trump praising the Chinese president and saying he's a strong man and, we've got a good relationship. And what is it with Trump and praising despotic dictators? I honestly don't get that. But then he went on to say, some people think he's like the king of China. But he's not. He's the president. And I'm the president. And that's why we get on. Okay, I know Trump's stupid and says stupid things, but he's not that stupid. So I'm going to look up a reputable news site and see what he actually said. Looking at a reputable news site now, and I'll look at what Trump actually said. Okay, what Trump actually, for real, actually said with words coming out of his big slobbery mouth was, people say we have the best relationship of any president because it's called president also. Now some people might call him the king of China, but he's called president. What the fuck? How is he not being subjected to forced medical examination? The dementia is so fucking obvious. I mean, it's like his handlers can't get him to do anything right. Just do simple things like, just don't fucking talk, Donald. Just stop Shut the fuck up occasionally. Just occasionally, shut the fuck up. Don't keep talking. Don't keep going. He's a great man, a strong man. He's a fucking despotic dictator. You know, like your pal Putin, with a sham democracy, actually dictator, murders any opposition. Okay, why the fuck does this guy love despotic dictators so much? Why does anyone still like him? Like, people go, he's tough, he's strong. He's an incompetent, blathering, cowardly, stupid fool. He is a pathetic fucking loser's idea of a strong man, a winner. Like, he's pathetic. Trump is so fucking pathetic. Like I say, about the only thing more pathetic than him is anyone who still insists on saying he's great, Trump's great. It's just like, could you, like, I mean, this is not as bad as him randomly tweeting stuff that makes it sound like he's going to start nuclear war with North Korea, but it's just like, it's not encouraging when the person in charge of the most powerful military and nuclear arsenal in the world clearly has the mental capacity of a 3-year-old who's had too much red cordial. My God, I need another drink. Anyway, one more story. In Australia, this is one I've mentioned on and off for months because it's been dragging on for months. The question of people serving in the parliament and what country they were a citizen of. Because it just kind of came to light about a year ago that there's a very strict bit in the Australian Constitution that said you couldn't be in the parliament, either in the lower house or the upper house, if you were a citizen, including a dual citizen, of another country. And the first person to fall under the wheels was one of the Green senators who realised he was a dual citizen and resigned, and the government made fun of them and said he was stupid. And then a second Green senator fell victim to the same thing and resigned, and the government was really mocking the Greens at that point. And then it started to affect the government. The 2 members of the government came up, one of whom blamed his mum. I mean, how fucking sad do you have to be to say there's a fuck up here that could threaten my ability to be in the parliament, but it's my mum's fault? I mean, honestly, even if it was true, who the fuck would say that? Who would not just take responsibility like a fucking adult and say, I need to deal with this? Who blames their mum? Jesus, what's Christmas at his place going to be? Anyway, it went right up to the leader of the Nationals, who's the Deputy Prime Minister, and he's in the lower house. Everyone else was a senator, including my least favourite senator in Australia, Malcolm Roberts, the science-denying, bubble-headed alien fuckwit. And honestly, once it got to Barnaby Joyce and Malcolm Roberts, I thought, okay, they're not going to get busted by this, because I know not to reach too high. I know not to wish for things that much, because I'll just get disappointed. And if I dance on their grave prematurely, I'll look stupid when it doesn't go against them. And it's just because I want to do... See, and then the thing with Barnaby Joyce, if he was found ineligible to be in the lower house, see, that's how we form government. Whoever has a majority in the lower house forms government. And the government only has a 1-seat majority. So if they lost Barnaby Joyce, there'd be a hung parliament. They would no longer be in a majority. So, of course, that was way too much to hope for. And also, yeah, to get for my least favourite senator, Malcolm Roberts, to also get the boot, way too much to hope for. But the High Court's made its judgment, so I'll just check what there is happening on that front. It just goes to show, kids, sometimes wishes do come true. So Barnaby Joyce is gone. although he will simply stand for re-election. But he might have a serious competitor, and it would be really funny if the government no longer had a majority and Malcolm Turnbull fell apart. And I mean, I'm not saying I'm a spiteful person, but I would dance on his political grave. No two questions about it. Malcolm Roberts is gone, which is good just in the objective because he's a piece of shit. But another One Nation person will take his place, and it'll probably be Pauline Hanson's sister. But he's a piece of shit. And so I'm really glad to see him suffer, especially when he clearly, demonstrably lied in all of his testimony. He knew where he was born. He knew what passports he travelled on, and he point blank lied. Wow, empirical evidence, Malcolm. Kinda sucks, doesn't it? So, maybe if we all wish hard enough, things can happen. So, maybe if we wish really, really, really hard, we could say goodbye to Trump as well. Here's hoping. Cheers.